All right, here we go. This is it. Boston Red Legion, the Russians taking on San Diego Dynasty. Just about 5 minutes to go before the start of our finals. I'm Matty Marshall. I'm up here with Nick Slowiak. And Nick, this is a pretty big game here, obviously.
Biggest game of the event, Matty.
Yeah, biggest game of the event. But first off, I'd like to thank our sponsors for 2011. Without them, none of this is possible. Empire, Dye, Draxus, GI, Mill Sims, and all the rest. Planet Eclipse. Without them, again, we would not be here. So also, since this is our last game, I'd like to give thanks to Dave Youngblood and Lane Wright for continuing to let the paintball world in on what's going on at these PSP events by letting us have this webcast. So definitely, show their support, man. Really support the league. If they don't pull the trigger on this, then this doesn't happen. You guys don't get to watch these games. Also, Patrick Sporer's down in the depths doing everything he needs to do to make sure that this production gets pulled off.
Not seeing the light of day.
Yeah, so, all right, Nick, this is going to be crazy. So, break down, what do you think? Russians, Dynasty, who you picking?
I heard something earlier about you having a roommate that plays on Dynasty, and, you're wearing your SD hat. So, I mean, I honestly, to see Dynasty win this 5 in a row, I mean, that's cool. They're my competition. They're my peers. Mm-hmm. And so there's a part of me that says, want to say, hey, I hope they lose. But if they win this, more props to them. And the Russians, these are two of the best teams in the world. So I'll pick the Russians. I'm going to go with the Russians. I think.
Well, that being said, look,
okay.
I'm objective. We're calling the game, but look, Dynasty's trying to do something historic here, and the Russians are going to try to shut him down. I got friends on the Russians, Matt Blonsky. I really like, obviously Justin Rabikoff, and the Russians are good guys. I very much respect that program. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't really matter who we're friends with. All that really matters is who wants to win this game the most.
Amen.
Who wants to win this game the most? Now, how crazy is Dynasty's year going to get? Well, that remains to be seen. Now, that being said, the Russians, they're the defending champions. They won last year. Mm-hmm. They beat you guys in the finals of the World Cup. They have a great lineup, and this is going to be an awesome matchup. I think keys to victory for me on Dynasty is that they really need they need to keep pulling for those all of the pieces that have been hitting for them all weekend long and all year long. They need to keep rolling with that. So if Alex Goldman's not getting it done, then Alex Frazier needs to start getting it done. If Oliver's getting shot off the break or not shooting people off the break, Yosh needs to pick it up. Ryan needs to step it up. It's going to be that mix of the old school Dynasty players with the young blood from Aftermath, and then now what sort of plays is Mike Kinman going to call? Mm-hmm. How is he going to wrangle them? If they start going down a lot to the Russians, because that could definitely very well happen. Dynasty lost to Damage yesterday, so if they've already lost the game, they're not infallible. They're not invincible. Now the Russians, what do you think the Russians' keys to victory are?
The Russians' keys to victory are, I think, adapting. I think they've had a hard time all year adapting to other teams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The Russians, even when you practice them, we had a chance to do that this past week. They do their set game plays and they stick to it. To them, there's one way to win paintball, and it's doing this. You know what I mean? Doing what you're supposed to do, and they're the way they view it. And if I can read minds, that'd be awesome. That would have helped me out last year at World Cup. But they stick to their game plans. I think they have a hard time adjusting. And as versatile and as well as Dynasty communicates, I think the Russians might have a hard time with that should they lose these first early points and what they have to do to adjust. On the same side, they do things with precision. Very precise, you know what I mean? They make all their shots count.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You can't look at when you play a Russian Legion player like, oh, his first snapshot's not going to be on. It's not going to be it's a piece of cake to gain dominance on one of those guys. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not at all. These are the two best teams in the world playing paintball right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have a front row ticket to probably should be one of the best games you're going to see all year. And hopefully, you'll see these later on in the year, and I hope that I can take my team to and mix it in here as well. That's my goal.
Yeah, that should very well be your goal. That's the whole point. You're doing this, especially at your level. Within Aftershock's been there before. You almost were there at World Cup with pretty much the same roster you got now. So, all right, you're looking at Dynasty on your screen. They got Steven Pitts. They just picked him up. He's
very
been
solid
around
player.
The block, incredibly solid, and they're starting him here for the final. Glenn Takamoto.
You got Oliver running back to his pit. Looks like he had a little loader issue with 30 seconds to go. So let's see if we can clean that up. We haven't seen many issues with a lot of people running out of paint, but malfunctioning equipment definitely can take you out of your game. So hopefully he has that issue fixed up. We got coming up on 15 seconds here. He's running back, make sure his marker's good, and get ready for the battle royale between San Diego Dynasty
I'm excited.
Boston Red
I'm
Legion.
excited. We've been looking forward to this matchup. I've been looking forward to this matchup. All right, let's see what happens here off the break. You're looking at the split screen breakout. Dynasty on your left, Russian Legion on your right. And here we go, digging out hard, aggressive breakout from the Russians. And it looks like 5 alive for both teams. Nice breakout and a little bit better field position for the Russians as they have a player, and look, it's Fedorov right behind the Snake in the insert bunker.
Yeah, and say we got a Russian Legion player filling out right behind him. Dynasty, both teams 5 alive. But you're going to see a lot of tight paintball with both sides working together to move up the field. You got Dalton Vanderbilt working his way up there on the Dorito side, making a nice move. As Maddie said, we've got the Russians closer to getting up the Snake, but on the same side, Dalton making that move on the Dorito side, looking to push that. Now as the Russians fill the Snake, we got to say, here we go. Here's
and Fedorov catches Dalton sleeping.
Okay.
So a mental mistake by Dalton Vanderbilt and a nice move by Konstantin Fedorov.
The Russians drop one as well, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be back and forth. It's like, say we've been talking about all day, counter punches. It's going to be happening a lot
And
here.
that's why Dynasty beat the Ironman. This is exactly the same sort of thing that happened with the Ironman, but Dynasty was just a little too much for him.
Exactly. So now we got both teams in the Snake. Then you got Oliver Lang in the Snake for Dynasty, and it might be Fedorov in the Snake for the Russians. So that's definitely an epic battle of phenomenal paintball players.
Absolutely.
The Russians have one up on the Dorito side, but in that same sense with that player over there, he's got to be conscious of Oliver and the Snake, because Oliver will have a great shot should he choose to look inside on the Russian player on the Dorito side. So right now, let's see if things look a little hunkered down. A couple of the guys on Dynasty look like they're on their knees, posted towards the Dorito side. We got a little Snake battle here. We're 4-on-4. So
yeah, and Fedorov, I mean, look for this until someone else dies. It's going to kind of slow down. It already has slowed down. You look at Oliver, he's in his knees right now. He's in very tight position. Oh, and look at that. Just as I say that, Glenn Takamoto getting shot. He's not even sure where he got shot from.
Yeah,
it looks from here like he got licked in the pack. See the mark on the back?
I see the mark. So I'd say Fedorov's definitely shooting that way. And now I'd say Fedorov's he knows that. He sees that a player's died that way, and if Dynasty tries to fill out, let's see what happens.
And here comes Alex Frazier. He makes the move farther up in the Snake.
Okay.
So Alex Frazier in the Snake. And let's see if he can get the drop on the corner of the Dorito. Ooh, he almost takes one himself.
Yeah.
Now listen, what did Alex just do? Started talking, you know?
Yeah,
and you can hear Oliver talking from here.
Yeah, and then say, going back to the games before that, nothing. I mean, and it's communicating, you know. And Alex and Oliver, they don't seem like they're linked up right now with like a headset. You know,
yeah,
the way those two play paintball
they've been playing. Well, they've been playing paintball together since they were little children, literally.
Yeah, and, Oliver
okay. Not able to get it done over there in the center field. So he was in a really bad field position. Here comes the highway. So Alex Frazier is going to trade out with Fedorov, and it looks like Yosh Stephen Pitts.
Stephen Pitts, okay.
So the first point is going to go to the Russians.
And hey, let's see what that does to Dynasty.
Yeah, let's see what they does to Dynasty. They've, I think they lost the first point against the Ironman as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Or you know what? No.
No, they didn't.
They did not. No.
What was that?
I know we beat them our first point.
Yeah.
It made me feel really good. But anyway, back to the finals.
And it was Britnikov who was one of the last Russian players left alive. So that was a decently long point, not nearly as long as some of the points we've seen today. 17:07 left on the clock, so a little less than 3 minutes ticked off for that first point. The score is 1-0 in favor of Boston, a.k.a. the Russians. And now spilling out on the field is the next crew for Dynasty, and it looks like they're going to be putting out Ryan Greenspan, Dalton Vanderbilt as well. Dalton needs to step it up. Had a mental lapse there as Konstantin Fedorov got the drop on him. They also have, it looks like Alex Goldman stepping in for Alex Frazier over here on the Snake side of the field. And
okay, so Dynasty definitely running a hybrid line, while the Russians are completely switched lines altogether. You got the Matt Blonsky JRAB line, so it's kind of a hybrid American Russian line. So we'll see. We'll see what Dynasty. When Mike Hinman called out for Dynasty, you know, he may have liked what he saw with Dalton moving up the Dorito side as fast as he did. Say, hey, I'll let that one go.
Yeah.
You know, hey, guys getting the Snake, you get shot. It
yeah.
happens.
Hey,
it
shake
happens
it off.
Exactly. Shake it off. You know, go back out there. Hey, plenty of time on the clock. That was just the first point.
When as a coach, you have to ask yourself and really kind of seriously consider, okay, well, am I going to go, hey, what the hell were you doing? Or, hey, shake it off, kid. You'll be fine. You know, that's one of those fine line things. Some guys respond better to, you know, hey, shake it off, you'll be fine. And other guys respond better to, hey, get it together, man. Come on, you know, get your head straight.
Exactly. And I'd say Hinman definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
The hinge man is definitely down on things to say. So coming up on 5 seconds here for the break. And you're watching Dynasty, so let's see what Dynasty does in the breakout.
And in case you are unaware who these teams are, Dynasty in blue and the Boston Red Legion in red and blue and black. Oh, look at this.
Big.
2 players coming off. Huge break for Dynasty as they have 5 alive, Nick, now, and only 3 players left alive for the Russians. They're all stuck in the center of the field.
Yeah, huge move by Dalton Vanderbilt coming back in for this next point, going straight to the Dorito 1. That Dorito can on the break. Huge move getting his gun up there. Nice job by Dynasty shooting both sides of the field. Both guys going out wide for the Russians. We really need to see how the Russians can counterpunch this because they're short on bodies. They're going to be living behind their guns, especially on that Dorito side.
And they need to get out of doubling up that back center. And honestly, look at them. They've literally, I was going to say, it's a matter of time. They're literally living by their guns. You can see them loading pod after pod, just dumping paint, nonstop shooting.
Alex Goldman getting in the snake for Dynasty. Let's see how well he can pick up the kill count and see how effectively he moves down the field. You got Justin Rabikoff moving up to a better spot for him on the snake side. That'll allow him to live a little bit longer instead of that tall cake.
Ooh, and look at this. Dalton getting shot again out of the Doritos. He is not having a good game right now. He's going to have to get it together. He needs to play well on that Dorito side for Dynasty to win this game.
So you got Yosh moving through the center to work with Alex Goldman here on the snake side. See if those two can communicate to work something out. They got J-Rab, Justin Rabikoff in front of them. Essentially a 2-on-1 situation is the Russians back center players pretty much only concerned with the snake side. He switches a little bit to shoot across the field. You got Glenn Takamoto working the center of the field for Dynasty. Takes a lucky bounce from Justin.
And Alex Goldman, wow, great job by Justin Rabikoff to survive through that.
Very smart.
Unbelievable. That was a
and Glenn takes the walk for Dynasty.
Yeah, so all of a sudden we have a 1-on-2 situation and what looked like it was going to be an absolute Dynasty slaughterer point. And just some mental mistakes. That was not a mistake by Alex Goldman. I thought that was a legit, hey, go trade out.
It's a 2-on-1.
Go trade out. Go trade out. That's fine. But that's a big mistake by Glenn. That's unexcusable. You're in a fortress in the center. There's only 2 players left alive. I don't know how he got shot out of there. Yeah, and then also Dalton, now that's 2 games in a row that he's got shot out of his bunker. That's very unlike Dalton. So Dalton needs to step it up. Glenn needs to step it up. And Yosh, there's nothing he could do at that point. You know, Yosh there's really nothing he could do.
Just try and take trying to win the
2-on-1.
And I'd say Yosh is very capable of doing that. But the biggest thing to look at on that point is say going from the breakout. Dynasty shot 2 Russian players on the break. Okay, I don't think there's even a statistic that you can look at where Dynasty has eliminated 2 players of the opposing team on the break and then lost that point. Like bad. I mean, to say what here's the big thing going from the divisional games we looked at. We talked a lot about the Jesters earlier and how their coaches would be. I can't imagine how Alex Frazier, Oliver Lang, or even Mike Hinman are in the pit right now.
No.
And that's, hey, it's going to be a control thing. Those guys have won a lot, and they have to know, hey, maybe yelling is one way to get across to someone. But hey, they have to look at each other and say, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And they are yelling.
I was just gonna say, the yelling has not started yet, but I guarantee you that if that score over there underneath the name Boston goes up past 3 or 4, and that goose egg continues under Dynasty's name, you're gonna start to listen to some beastly yells coming from the side.
No, I've heard it before. Walking to the field, like, what is that? Oh, that's Dynasty. They're not very happy with each other.
Yeah.
And it's a new Dynasty team this year. You know, there's been a couple of videos on it, and you know, Dalton's back on the team. Alex Mouse Goldman, Mesa, Steven Pitts they just picked up for this event. So you know, you can think maybe, hey, that they need to adjust to that. I mean, they sent Dalton out there to do again. I don't see him back out there at this point. But
yeah, they sat. Look at that. So what's happening right now is Oliver is going to play the Dorito side as Dalton has been sat. So.
I'd say, look, okay, yeah, he definitely looks like he was lined up to go out there. I'd say usually look for him to shoot on the break that way. But
no, they're sending Oliver over to the Dorito side. Look, he's digging in. I mean, he may pull up, but it looks like he's going to be the guy going over the Dorito side. Look at that. Yeah. Then looks like he got clipped. No, I'm not sure. The referee has not. He's asking for a check, but no one's in there checking him.
So you keep going. But
yeah,
the Russians
you keep going. And now finally the referee is. Now Oliver's going to be making his move. So now Oliver's pressing up the Dorito side. The Russians lose 3 players though.
Oh.
3 players coming off, just 2 left alive. Oliver streaking down the Dorito side of the field. Yosh Rao in the center, rolling his gun. And here comes Oliver. Next move to the 50-yard line. Dorito is Ryan Greenspan digging out to that back corner on the snake side. And he is going to then be followed. That move is going to be followed up by Alex Goldman, just unabated, running down the side and all the way past the 50-yard line. Nice job by Dynasty so far.
Okay, and they eliminate the back center to the other Konstantin Fedorov. And let's see if they can dig up this last Russian player, which, hey, if we got 5 on, okay, and they do. 5-on-1 Dynasty.
Yeah. So now the key to this, I think this is interesting. Okay, so both of these last points, Dynasty shooters, the Yosh Rouse and the Ryan Greenspans, doing an amazing job of shooting their people off the break. There was 3 dead Russian players off the, I couldn't quite tell this, it's 2 off the break and then 1 immediately afterwards, and then 2 the game before that. So even though the Russians won the last point, and the score is now going to be 2-1, we got ourselves a 1-point match with 14:09 left in regulation here in our final matchup. Dynasty's shooters are on point. The Russians are going to need to counter that. They are going to need to, I mean, they almost shot Oliver. He must have got bounced.
Yeah.
They definitely bounced him, so they're putting paint back in on him. But yeah, this is going to get pretty nasty, I think.
Yeah, and let's see who what the next line is. You know, are they going to run with that same line? I'd say Greenspan's walking up kind of slow. I think you got Alex out there. The Russians have gone back and forth between the 2 lines. I haven't seen much of a mix-up between that. I think they rarely ever really switch the lines up for a hybrid line. But oh, we got stuff flying all over the place here in the stands.
Oh, and the swag starts to be pilfered out to the masses.
Yeah. I want a shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, this next point's going to be, you know, can Dynasty use, I guess, in a sense, momentum? I think both teams definitely have momentum. I'd feel really good after pulling off.
Well, I think that's actually an interesting point, because in a game that is this closely matched, it's almost like the momentum could be an inner point momentum. It doesn't even need to be a 2-point swing. You could have momentum switch within an actual point that's being played on the field. So it doesn't need a 2 or 3 points to be scored before momentum goes back and forth, because these guys are so evenly matched.
And we're coming up on 30 seconds before this next point. So you guys are tuning in. You got Dynasty, San Diego Dynasty in the blue, Boston Red Legion, better known as the Russians, in the red, white, and blue. And we are here at the PSP Chicago 2011 event, the finals, the game that you have all been waiting for. Probably with the best 2 teams in the world right now. Look at the defending champions, the Boston Red Legion, and then Dynasty, who's won 4 straight pro tournaments in a row.
Yeah.
2-1 game in favor of Boston right now. We're about to see who can take the 4th point of this match.
All right, and on the breakout, Dynasty has heavy guns again, and again taking out another Russian player off the break and able to keep all 5 of their players alive, with Alex Frazier making the snake off the break, and Justin Rabakov now changing things up. He's at the back corner on the snake side of the field.
And it's a big move by Dynasty to Alex Frazier taking the snake off the break. Hey, you never think that nothing is impossible to get to. Okay, go for it. Dynasty losing their corner player. So we're evened up now, 4-on-4.
Yeah, Oliver getting shot out of that back corner. So Oliver Lang walking off the field for Dynasty, and now here comes Justin Rabakov. You can see Justin Rabakov in the ref. Oh, ref pulling out one of the Russian players, Matt Blonsky.
Alex definitely working the field from the snake, knowing how to get those kills by backing up and getting the shots on there. So we got 4-on-3 in favor of Dynasty right now, with Alex being up in the 50 snake. And let's see how the Russians can counterpunch this, if at all possible. I think you're going to see these guys, they're going to dig in a little bit, as they did in the second point of this match.
Yeah.
And taking it shorthanded from Dynasty.
Oh, that's a mental mistake by Alex Frazier right there.
And Glenn Takamoto at the same time playing a Dorito corner, getting taken out by the Russians' back center player.
They have got to maintain their mental edge a little bit better than that.
Hey, the Russians lose another player as well, so it looks like we've got it could be
they lose 2 more, so now we have just Justin Rabakov for the Russians. It looked like we might have a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
It's Dalton Vanderbilt and Justin Rabakov, I think. Oh, no, sorry, 2-on-1. There's the back corner on the snake side.
Okay.
Stephen Pitts is still alive in this back corner for Dynasty, as well as Dalton Vanderbilt on the drill side of the field. So it's going to be up to Justin Rabakov to try to even this up quick. Now, when you're in this situation, Nick, what you really want to do, and you know well as I do in these situations, you don't want to have to take 2 guys on. So what you really hope to happen is that one attacks you at a time, and then you can even it up, take it to a 1-on-1, and then win that 1-on-1.
Yeah, and Dynasty knows this as well. So we got to really see how they work together here. And one guy has to draw the gun. There you go. Dalton Vanderbilt moving up the field. Got a great shot on Justin moving up.
Hey, it's like we always say, don't be perfect, be clutch. So Dalton had struggling so far in this game, able to step it up and take out Justin Rabakov right there, stay alive over on that Dorito side of the field. So nice job by Dalton to keep his head in this game.
Very nice, but very back and forth.
God.
It's you have to, as soon as you get those key eliminations, and that's going for both teams. So in the mind of the Russians, they evened it up. They were short-handed off the break, and they came back and they were actually up on bodies, and it looked like their back center player just tried to fill out a little too soon. This is a big game, and there's a lot of time left. Take your time and find those bodies. And Dynasty in that second point of the game really had a hard time with that. They were up on bodies, and it didn't look like they communicated too well. There's a lot of guys came moving down the field, and and they got shot. Silly.
Yeah.
They're better than that.
Yes.
These both teams are both. As you said, the Russians in this point are better than that. So they need to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens this next one.
Yeah, I totally agree. So the score is now 2-2 here. This is the final game of the 2012 PSP Chicago Open. 11 minutes and 50 seconds left to play here in this matchup. And it's been one hell of a game thus far, with the Boston Red Legion taking an early lead and Dynasty scrapping back and able to fight, claw back, get to the tie.
You better believe that either team is not going to stop fighting until the very end. And both teams, say in a sense, are attacking. And say the Russians are kind of sitting back a little bit more, but even Justin, I mean, they're down on bodies and he's moving forward and getting those key eliminations. And unfortunately for them at that point, the team I'm going for this one, he didn't pull that 2-on-1 off. But this next one, I think we've got. Say Dalton's back out there. I think it's the third point out of 4. The fifth point. There'll be 3 out of 4 points that Dalton's been out there. Let's see if he can work his magic. You got Alex Goldman again, Ryan Greenspan, Yosh, who have been fantastic, shooting fantastic lanes on the break.
That's been the story of the game so far, at least in this comeback right here to tie it up, is that Dynasty has really been able to effectively shoot a player, at least, from the Russians every single game. Let's see if the Russians can stay alive off the break. You see Dynasty, their shooters right there. That's Ryan and Yosh.
Oh.
Okay, there are the guns up. That's Yosh Rao with his gun up trying to shoot the corner, and he does. Nice job.
Say Konstantin
Yosh
Fedorov.
just feast on Konstantin Fedorov.
He jumped early.
He
had to tag back up.
Yeah, he
mental error right there, man.
That was huge.
Error.
And now there's no one on the snake side of the field as the Russians are stuck doubling up that back center with the split guns, one shooting each way in the back corner. And here comes Alex Goldman in the snake, scurrying his way down. But Dynasty losing bodies as well, and it looks like they might have a penalty, and a major penalty. Glenn Takamoto is just not having a game at all. He's dying early and drawing penalties. Now, I don't know. I didn't see what happened. And Glenn is normally very composed. He's an incredibly smart guy, great guy.
But hey, you know what? It's 3-on-4 right now in favor of the Russians. And just because Dynasty got a major doesn't mean that this is over at all.
No.
They recognize the situation. They know they got a major. Yosh is calling it out over there. He's yelling at Alex or Mouse and the Snake. He's yelling at Dalton over there on the Dorito side. And the Russians, I mean,
well, was it Glenn that got the penalty, or was it Ryan that got the penalty?
It's Glenn. Glenn's in the box, so it has to be on Glenn. The thing that really gets me is Fedorov, after he got shot, went streaking down the Dorito side, pointing and yelling at the ref to call out Glenn. Now, I think that maybe a penalty could have gone both ways. We talked earlier about how some players who've been in this league a while have a little leeway with the refs and can talk.
Yeah.
So that kind of alarmed me a little bit. I thought maybe they'd pull a penalty on the Russians for Fedorov yelling.
Oh, wow, look at this. Talk about an error. That is an error on the Russians' part.
I didn't see him get shot.
I don't know. Did he get
and
is that an inadvertent horn?
They conceded the point in order to keep the penalty on the clock for the next one. The Russians, I believe the Russians conceded the point. Yep, giving the point to Dynasty, which kind of, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I guess.
I mean, I could see kind of why you would want to do that.
They concede the point, so Dynasty starts with 4 at the start of the next point. But it was a 3-on-3 after they lost their player in the snake, and maybe I guess they didn't want to run the risk of trying to. I don't know. I disagree with it now.
I disagree with that too.
I talk it out amongst.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it through, and that's just something that's very unconventional, to say the least. But the Russians have a method to their madness sometimes. I just don't agree with that really at all. I say let your players try to make something happen. I mean, they weren't in great field position. I'll give them that. Dynasty had better field position, and they had already cranked the minute off that penalty, so they were going to get the body back and then have a 1-body numerical advantage. But still, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, there's 10 minutes on the clock. It was a tie game.
Yeah, and especially with the way these games have been played, they haven't been quick points.
No.
And now Dynasty's been shooting really well in the break, and it's not like they're not going to have a hard time figuring out how to play this down a body.
No, not at all. No.
And you now just gave them a 1-point lead. I mean, if anything, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed in the Russians for not attacking. Hey, the guy dove into the snake, but I mean, he did that after a minute had gone off the clock, realizing that Dynasty had a penalty. And I mean, it was a 4-on-3, and we talked earlier again. They had that one body up that essentially wasn't getting shot at. Did they really use it that effectively to try and to eliminate the rest of the Dynasty players and win that point with time still on the penalty clock, and then start the next point 5-on-4 up a point?
I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, and that's definitely not something we're going to be able to ask any of the Russian players anytime soon about how they felt about that one. But we'll see how we go here in this next point.
All right, let's see if the shooters for Dynasty can get it done again. And they are just continuing
to. For Dynasty do get it done
It's Ryan
again.
Greenspan back there, man, just handling business off the break. So nice job by Ryan as he's able to, looks like he took down Justin Rabikov.
Yep.
That's a big weapon gone now for the Russians. Still with 4 bodies left alive, though. And Dynasty only a 1-point lead. There's a ton of time for the Russians to try to get this point back. Oh, but another one walks. Another Russian walks off. It might be Kirill. Yeah, it's Kirill walking off.
And say, if anything, Dynasty's just going to sit tight here and wait to get their guy out of the box. That's all I have to do. And then it'll be, let's say it's 4 on. Oliver taking the walk over there on the Dorito side. But still, you're coming up on 10 seconds on that major penalty coming out for Dynasty. They're going to get a free body back here unless the Russians can get in position to eliminate him. And it doesn't really look like they're in the position right now. Wait. And does Dynasty get out their player?
Yeah, Glenn finally comes out of the box and he makes it out alive. So that's definitely going to help out Dynasty. And look at this.
Man.
So Alex Goldman continuing his dominance on the Snake side of the field. And he's going to get a shot on the... might get a shot. Yeah, he gets a shot on the foot.
Well,
the ref did not see that.
Yeah.
He's definitely hitting his foot. The center player for the Russians, I don't know, from here, did you see that?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, maybe it burst off the corner.
Well, he definitely tucked his foot in right away.
Yeah, he did.
You know, so I mean, sometimes you can get the feel that paint's coming by your foot, but
I don't know. It's tough to tell from here. From here, I thought he might have got shot foot, but also there is the elastic that holds the actual strap down, so I can't see. And there is a ref looking at him, so it must have hit right there.
Yeah, but
he did tuck his foot right in.
He did. He tucked his foot in really quick.
He felt the spray, man. If he didn't get hit, he felt the spray.
There it is.
Now he's hit.
Yep. And say, hey, Dynasty. There you go. The Russians are going to concede the point. Like, if anything, we're going to have to remember this spot, this last point where the Russians conceded the point to give Dynasty the lead, and it didn't really do them that much good.
No,
because now they're down 2 points. I'm sorry, in the biggest game of the tournament.
Well, they do have some time because who knows how long that game was going to go. I think that's the wild card in that argument is that how long was that game going to go down. But the thing is that Dynasty didn't necessarily have any more motivation to make that a long point other than to get their player out of the box.
Yeah,
once their player came out of the box and they had the numbers, it's a tie game. Why would they let the clock expire? They don't need to do that.
Exactly, and the Russians would need to. All they would have had to have done is get into a position to try and eliminate the player coming out of the box, and then they would have, they essentially would have tied it up. And by getting into those positions, they forced Dynasty's hand to prevent that.
Yes.
And that's a lot to think about all at once to some people, but like you've been doing this for years, it kind of comes to you. It's fundamental. It's advanced paintball 106.
The 106. We're talking about we're getting PhDs in paintball on that side of things, and I'll tell you what, you want to talk about some PhDs in paintball, you should hand a couple out to the guys running Dynasty and the Russians because those coaches are just phenomenal. Both the coaches for the Russians, I mean, these guys have been playing top level paintball for a long time. They've won championships.
I was to say, I don't know if most people realize, but the coaches of the Russians they're Russian Legion players. Almost all of them have played paintball, and they've won championships with the Russian Legion.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've been around the block. They know what they're doing. On the same side, Mike Hinman has been playing paintball for I don't even know how long, and he's won paintball tournaments with Dynasty. And with I don't know if he's won with other teams. I don't know if he won. I know he played with Aftershock, and I think he came up with the Bushwhackers, maybe.
Yeah, Bushwhackers.
So I don't know. Okay, so Boston taking time out here. I don't know Mike's history, but we're on the subject of coaches. You've got, and even Dynasty, even with Mike Hinman, you've got Eric Crandall, who's been around for years with Dynasty. Huge support for them. Always got their back. You got Mike walking over the sidelines now to talk to his sideline coach.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they bring people out, and they count on those people. And if you don't have that in paintball, it's really hard to do well when the other team's got like a structured,
it's eyeballs on the
machine.
Job. Yeah, exactly. Structured, well-oiled machine is exactly what both these teams have become. Dynasty was less so before. I mean, they were structured and they were a machine. I wouldn't necessarily. Well, you could argue it, but the Russians for sure, because they just have so many numbers. There's a lot of numbers over there, and eyeballs they can put on the job. Dynasty in the driver's seat right now. Score 4-2, and you are looking at Dynasty on your screen right now as they are assembling the troops for this next point. 1 minute and 8 seconds on that countdown clock. before the start of this next point.
I didn't say you couldn't ask for a better start so far for this, because the weather out here is perfect. You got two of the best teams. We have a full packed house here of crazy
standing room only.
Yeah, essentially. The stands are packed. The front of the fence is packed, where people are going to be yelling and talking. Everyone in the stands is yelling. Again, with the weather, with how things have been pretty crazy here, overcast and cold and a little bit rainy throughout the week. It's sunny. You got some little clouds moving in, but it's beautiful. And you guys paying attention to the webcast, I hope you can appreciate it as I'm hanging out with my T-shirt up here in the stands.
Yeah,
with Matty.
We got ourselves a great view up here in the broadcaster's booth, and about 20 seconds to go.
It kind of makes me wish they did this every event, so I can come up here and just get the best view in the house with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm scouting with Matty up there, okay? I'm not just doing the webcast. But hey, big point for the Russians.
Yeah, huge point for the Russians.
They've got to make something happen here, and they're going. That actually could be This is a hybrid line.
It is all about living off the break for the Russians at this point in this game, because they are just having a hard time doing that. And they go heavy guns, and Oliver out in the middle of nowhere right now, rolling his gun and then running up the center, and he takes one though just as he got in. I'm surprised he was able to live that long.
And the first time the Russians have survived 5 on the break.
And Britnikoff all the way into the snake. He might have caught one on the way in. No, he makes it in clean. So nice job by Britnikoff to get into snake 1. And Dynasty with 4 bodies left alive. Stephen Bitts, Glenn Takamoto, Dalton Vanderbilt, and it looks like Alex Frazier in the back corner. So Britnikoff all the way up to the 50-yard line here. Look for him to start shooting cross field as his best shot, and he's really kind of run out of room as far as being able to move forward. He can't, I was going to say, the only way he's going to be able to move any farther forward is if Dynasty does not try to attempt to take the snake, as Stephen Pitts makes the move to the insert bunker. You're looking at Stephen Pitts. It's on your screen right now.
Yeah, I'd say Britnikoff definitely needs to get his gun up on Dalton over there on the Dorito corner. So Dalton definitely knows he's there. If Britnikoff can get dominance on him, he also has a pretty good shot on Glenn in that Dorito. Dynasty definitely is in a defensive position. I'd like to see the Russians' back center player get out here and run a more supportive role to fill the snake for Britnikoff, because they say they're mirrored up in the corners, but Dynasty's down a body, and the Russians, their back center players, what's he doing? Is he going to put? He's putting pressure on Pitts, but he can do the same thing from his mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he can easily communicate with Britnikoff, tell him, hey, I got the tape, don't worry about it. I don't know how well Justin's Russian is, but I'm sure it's not that bad. Now the Russians are making another bump over there on the Dorito side, so we got 2 back-to-back players, one shooting down the wire, another shooting inside. But this point's definitely slowed down, and with coming up on 6:20 left in the game, that's a lot of time. But when you're down 2 points, when you're playing Dynasty,
and the points are running a little slow,
you gotta make something happen. So
yeah,
it's got to be this back center player.
And this is the crucial point. This is the crucial point for the Russians. If they don't win this could be game over.
It could be. And say the Dorito side's pushing. We need Justin, or the Russians' back center player needs to get up the field, and they can't wait for their 50 guy to die, if their 50 Dorito player to die, because if that happens, then that's going to force him to switch his gun over to the other side.
Yeah.
Dynasty, they're on their knees.
Yeah, Dynasty, they're just, all you're seeing is just lenses, and tips of barrels and loaders.
And
That's
the
all
Russian
you're seeing
player
right now.
actually retreated, and now he's farther away from his 50-yard line player. And even though the Russians have 2 players across the 50, they've got the rest of their players, the 3 players they have left of them are, 25 yards behind them.
Yeah, and now we're at under 5:30 left on the clock, and 2-point differential here is Boston. Man, they have just, there we go. I was going to say, need to get a little offense going, but they got to be careful. They got to push hard.
Yeah,
they got to push smart.
There we go. Let's do something. What are you doing over here?
I was going to say, I agree that back center should be moving up the field to get in a better position. Because if Britnikoff wants to make a move happen, you need to be close enough to play off that move. And if you're that far away, then it's going to be really hard for you to do that.
Yeah, and he's asking for a paint check, and he gets eliminated. So good shooting by I don't know who from Dynasty. But now, say Justin Rabikoff definitely has to get in the game. He's got to tell Britnikoff, hey, what do we got, man? Let's figure it out.
This is it's not looking good right now for the Boston Red Legion.
Coming up on 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Another
It's going to be up to
semi-long point.
Britnikoff, and I'll tell you what, they have good field. I was going to say that Britnikoff needs to make something happen. Nice job. He takes out Stephen Pitts. So it's 2 on 3 right now.
Should be a 3 on 3. I'd say the Russians, I believe they have a 50 Dorito player, unless I completely missed him walking off.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It is 3-on-3, and now Dalton making moves up that Dorito side. Oh, and the referee is pulling out one of the Russians. Looks like he's pulling out Mishka. And so it's going to be up to Justin Rabikoff to try to keep his team in
he gets a shot on Dalton.
He does, and
they're not pulling him out. They're not. This could be bad for Dalton.
Oh, no, there's going to be a penalty. Oh, major penalty on Dynasty. So Dynasty shooting themselves in the foot. Dalton Vanderbilt continuing to struggle over there, but it doesn't matter. Alex Frazier is able to win the point.
Wow.
And Alex is just going to walk that flag in. Now, I don't know why Boston is not immediately trying to blow his horn to preserve that penalty. This is a mental mistake. Okay, I was going to say, every second that ticks off that penalty clock is a mental mistake for Boston.
And I'd say, if I was Justin Rabikoff right now, I'd be very upset. I always say, I was watching him say he shot Dalton out, and as soon as they pulled the penalty on Dalton, Glenn was still in, and Glenn recognized they were pulling a penalty. Glenn actually moved up the field and shot Justin. It would have came down to a 1-on-1 between Justin and Alex. So good move by Glenn. He knew he knew he was gonna get pulled. He took a couple steps forward. He wrapped around that bunker and shot Justin as Justin was trying to point out that Dalton was hit.
Hey, if you know that the Axeman is coming for you, do something.
You do something. And hey,
do something.
That was huge.
That was huge. It was huge. That was great.
So I don't know if the cameras caught that.
Well,
that's what I saw. So don't tell anyone.
So I'll keep it on the down low. Okay. So score is 5-2. Minute and 51 seconds left, and on the Dynasty penalty, on Dalton's penalty. So Dynasty's going to have to play the majority of this, the rest of this match, down a body.
But hey, if you look at the score, you'd think that the Russians had 2 majors, right? I mean, we still have 1 major to play out for Dynasty, but
the Boston went up. Did they go?
They went up 2-0.
So Dynasty has scored 5 unanswered points.
Yeah, and they've been down for 2 of those points. Almost 3 of those points they've been down a body, and now we're going to do it again.
They're playing some scrappy paintball right now. They scrapped against the Ironman, and a lot of those points were close to even get here. And now playing very, very scrappy against Boston and maintaining that innate professional composure that takes years to craft.
Yeah,
you know, and that's an important thing to note, because that's really what's separating them right now, I really think, because it's not like these guys aren't talented enough to beat Dynasty. We've seen Dynasty's lost games. You know, they're losing games, but what they're doing is they're able to win the close points, and they're really stepping it up. Just when you think, okay, we're beating this guy up, he should get ready to quit. They don't quit yet. There's no quitting them right now.
So hey, now the big thing is now with the Russians up 1 body on the break.
They keep 5 alive.
Yeah, they keep 5 alive, but they didn't say they don't get any kills. Dynasty takes a snake corner. It's pretty much and of course they stay 5 alive, and then they drop 1. We're really good at doing that. So now they're 4 alive, and they're still 4 alive. But let's see if they can do something, because say Dynasty's going to dig in and try and burn out that penalty, and then come away with the 1 point to put them essentially 1 point away from winning this tournament. So, I mean, the Russians definitely have to make something happen here. They need to work that advantage of being where they were up a body.
And the clock is not their friend right now.
No, with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this game, being down 3 points, no, it is not their friend at all.
Dynasty stuck in that back center, though. Okay, here Ryan comes out, and anytime you see somebody run in that quick, you always look for a penalty flag. And Alex Goldman gets shot. Yoshroud, desperation move, digging out to the back center. Let's see if he makes it. No, he gets shot as well.
And all Dynasty players have been eliminated. They gotta run that flag in.
This is going to be a quick point for the Russians. And now they're within 2. And Dynasty not able to take much time off of that clock. Well, they
did a good job.
Yeah, it was all right.
They start with what, 1:45.
A good job would have been that entire penalty gone.
Yeah, because they say another 35 seconds off the main clock, putting it under, within under 2 minutes to play, and then being 5 strong. They're checking out the Russian player. Let's see what they think of his pack, because they're definitely getting low and scoping it out. So as of yet, we have not gotten word that the point is good. And did they give it to him? Uh-oh. Calling in ref reinforcements to check out what is that, Britnikoff's pack?
Yeah, it looks like they're calling in.
And look at that. Mike Hinman is coming in too.
What's going on here? Mike, be careful.
Yeah. Well, we had Well, I mean, I know what I would say if I was Mike. Yeah, it's a hit.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Get him out of there.
Yeah.
But hey,
it's an obvious hit. Look at
the
this.
2 minutes is still running. So these, no matter what happens, you got to get your next line out there and ready to go. So hey, Mike can go out there and argue all he wants, but I hope he's got his next line ready, because he's got to figure out what I'm going to do with my 4 guys.
They still have not signaled that this is a clean
and I
hang.
think if I don't know if they'd pull a penalty.
Did you see the
well, they did. They do that every time they hang the flag, but they didn't give. Usually, I don't know if they radio it
or
in.
the thumbs up.
Yeah, but Mike's. I don't know. He's. I'm going to think that the point's good, but it has not yet been added to the clock, and we've got 25 seconds left, and these teams are still checking in. I mean, the Russians need to get their guys out there. They have no one at the box yet. Okay, point's good. So Boston gets that point after a little double check, triple check.
So now they're only
okay,
down.
Dynasty calls a timeout.
So the situation. Okay, Dynasty calls a timeout. That's why. Okay, so the situation is confronting us here in the finals in 2011 Chicago Open. We get 3-5. Dynasty's up 2 points. 35 seconds left on the penalty clock for them, so they're going to have to start with 4 Russians on the power play. Now, the Russians have to score 2 points within 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That is feasible. However, they're going to have to, A, keep as many bodies alive as they possibly can against the Dynasty team that's been consistently shooting them off the break. Now, they have one less gun, but let's see if they put Ryan Greenspan out there. They have
Pitts,
Steven Pitts,
Oliver,
Yosh Rao. Okay, so they got heavy guns up there. Yosh Rao and Ryan Greenspan doing a great job of shooting players off the break. Now, on the flip side, Russians, they got Fedorov. Looks like...
I don't see
They got Matt Blonsky. I do not see a Justin Rabakov out there.
I don't even see a 5th player out there. I only see four Russian heads. Well, and yeah, I guess, and a Matt Blonsky. So we'll see who they throw out there.
But Boston's going to have to come aggressive. They're going to have to come very, very aggressive in order to try to score 2 points, and basically looking at a minute 10 for each point. Now, that's absolutely possible, and they practice these specific points. But it's still kind of a tall order, though. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's definitely a tall order, but it's definitely something they're capable of that I think they've lacked this entire game. Mm-hmm. Because Dynasty, Dynasty's working on eliminating or running their second major penalty off of this clock, and the score is 5-3. And you would think that looking at the clock, they'd say that Boston has had the major penalties. You know, we had a little bit of I guess unexplained happenings going on where Boston was playing and they conceded the point on a 3-on-3 after Dynasty had received the major penalty, and I don't know if that, you know, if they lose this game by 1, that may come back to haunt them on why they chose to do that. But you know, they have to come, and they've been up on bodies and they have not attacked Dynasty. And say it's not something easy to do, but know who you are and know what you're trying to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And play that game, and then with this breakout, we'll see how it goes.
All right, so on the breakout, you're looking at, that's the Boston Red Legion, and they are trying to get out on the snake side of the field. Aggressive breakout up the center of the field. That's the smart aggressive breakout, is to up the center of the field. They double up those stand-up temples right up the middle. And then now pushing hot and heavy here into Snake 1, and looks like Dynasty is able to get out 3 players, I think.
So they have 2 in the back center. They got one in each.
So 4 players alive for Dynasty, and they're living by their guns. But look at their body language back. Like Oliver is just basically becoming a cocoon.
Yeah,
in that.
Well, 1 second the penalty comes off. And I think the Russians completely forgot about shooting the.
And Dalton
Oliver
is just getting destroyed. And wow, so here come the Russians, and they are just putting it on Dynasty right now. And it looks like Oliver is finally eliminated, and he's arguing his case, but he's going to have to come off. Look at Yosh Rao still in there, taking as much time off the clock as they possibly can, and there's a minor penalty on, and that's just, and if that's on Oliver, that's inexcusable. I don't know what he is doing, talking after he's hit, and that's just losing his composure there, if that's on him. I don't know. We'll see.
They didn't pull any bodies off.
Well, I see Oliver's pleading his case, and Oliver gets a lot of these penalties. He's talking after hit penalties, and that would be a very bad loss of composure for Oliver if he got that penalty with 1 minute and 22 seconds. You'd want to put 5 bodies out there, only down a body.
It could be on the Russian player, but I don't know. They didn't pull anyone for the team.
So lots of chaos out there right now as the referees are trying to figure out. Or we're trying to figure out what the referees call.
Oliver definitely, he was called out by a referee, and he sat in his bunker. And man, if I was on the Russian team, I'd be like, okay, where's the penalty for that?
Yeah.
Because he talked the entire way off. And so and the minor penalties on Boston, on the clock.
All right, so Boston's going to have to start with 4. That really helps Dynasty's cause here because now, and we just saw a very quick point scored by the Russians. That's why we're saying it's possible, but can they do it 2 times in a row? Obviously they can. Will they? Not sure. Especially starting with 4 bodies.
And they have to attack Dynasty.
Oh, but they have they have the bodies that could do it. I mean, you put Fedorov, if I was putting my dream line together for Boston, it would be Mishka, Fedorov, Justin Rabikov, and then maybe Britnikov. That would be my 4 guys that I would want out there to try to score a quick point.
I think that's Matt Blonsky coming out, Justin,
Mishka, and Britnikov. I almost got my wish.
Okay, Matt Blonsky's in the box.
So send Fedorov out.
Which is kind of weird because he called himself out.
I called the line.
There you go.
So
you
that's
got
my line.
Have you done this before?
A couple times.
Okay, and so it's Dynasty. Glenn Takamoto, Oliver Lang, Stephen Pitts, Vanderbilt. So is that Alex?
Yeah, Alex. Unsportsmanlike conduct was the penalty on the Russians. All right, let's see if the dream lineup here for the Russians can get it done. Heavy guns off the break. And were they able to shoot anybody for Dynasty? No, so look for Dynasty to just zone it up right now and try to cross it up and just see that every single second that ticks off that clock is another nail in Boston's coffin. They need to come forward here and try to, and you see Mishka digging out to that back corner and he makes it in alive. So I don't know if going to that back corner is the good spot for him. No, and he gets shot. Now Mishka needs to be pushing aggressively up the field. That's definitely not the right move. All right, now here comes Justin Rabikov all the way to the 50-yard line of the snake. We'll look for the guns to switch to him, and no one has seen him get in there.
Nope.
Ooh, and he almost shoots Oliver. So now Oliver needs to scream to the rest of his boys where he is. And here comes Alex Frazier, but Alex Frazier gets taken out here, and Justin Rabikov now pressing his advantage.
But hey, we've got, what, 25 seconds left in the game?
Has Oliver completely forgotten that Justin Rabikov is in the 50-yard line bunker?
I don't even know if he has to worry about it. I say Oliver's looking at the clock. I think he knows that Pitts is behind him.
Yeah, but Pitts just got shot.
Unless they grab the flag. Okay, oh my goodness.
There's no gun on him now. Justin having to run to the center 10. I don't know if there's going to be enough time. Oh, nice job. There we go. Oliver takes out Fedorov, but here comes Justin Rabikov.
Does he hang the flag?
Is able to hang it in time. Oh
wow.
My God.
Oliver has no idea.
Justin Rabikov able to grab that flag, and it looks like he might have injured himself diving in there. So that was an utter amazing, stunning point. Justin Rabikov having the composure, almost got shot in the center. The crowd erupts. We have to stand and give a standing ovation for Justin to tie it up with 2 seconds remaining to send it to sudden death overtime. And that is, I don't necessarily know, and as he pumps his hand to the crowd explodes, and you see Steve Rabikov running around like a maniac supporting his son on the sidelines.
It's a beautiful thing.
So Dynasty letting themselves down right there is some mental errors. They really shouldn't have let that happen, so they're going to have to go and figure that out in the pits right now. But hey, it wasn't so much that Dynasty let themselves down as it was amazing play by Justin Rabikov, but seriously, 5 guns on 4, and also Mishka making that bad move by running out to the back corner there instead of going forward. Really, Dynasty should have been able to lock it up, but because of Justin Rabikov's amazing play, we're going to sudden death overtime.
I mean, that's, I don't even know. Like, to see Justin go to work his way from the shortest side, the shortest bunker he can go to on the snake side, all the way into the snake, going from the 50 snake, knowing someone has to get the flag and hang it. And it's going to be him. Grabbing the flag, going around the A, okay, and then eliminating, I'm pretty sure he shot both Oliver and Glenn Takamoto, bunkering Glenn Takamoto, and then diving into the flag station, hanging the flag with 2 seconds left. You can't teach that kind of thing.
No.
And to see it here in this finals game, to tie it, to send it to sudden death overtime.
Couldn't ask for a more exciting game.
Exactly. Like, this is like the World Series. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, bottom of the 9th, you're going to the bottom of the 9th, and this is your fresh count. You know what I mean? You're at bat right now, and it's both teams essentially that are at bat because, hey, both teams are at full strength. Okay, it's 5 on 5.
Yeah, both teams are full strength. There's a whole new clocks to set up, and
if I could think of any better situation to set it up, I couldn't, because this is it. Unless we're at World Cup, and it all comes down to it. But this is going to be it, and
yeah,
we'll see if the Russians. I don't know if the Russians have called a timeout yet. They might want to, because I know I sure as hell would want to get Justin back out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And I hope he's okay. He tore down part of the penalty box. he did some damage on both Dynasty and the playing field, and so I really hope they can get him back out there. But I mean, you've got But you got Blansky, let's see what they send back out. I mean, call your line again. I'd say it'd be the same line, but you're going to have, Matt playing. But unbelievable, and that's something that, we can have a replay. That's something you're going to rewatch over and over again on YouTube when these get posted up.
That is, I mean, that's an amazing story. I really, again, Justin proving why he's one of the best in the world. That was incredibly impressive.
And they're not sending him back out.
So Justin must
he took his hat
must
off.
have been hurt in some way.
Is that him? Because that could be him with his hat off.
That is him. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
he's
that
out
is
there.
him.
Tricked me. Here we go.
So Rabakov is back out there, but without the blue beanie that he normally rocks. So let's see what happens here. Heavy guns for both teams. 3 guns up off the break, and looks like Yoshua takes one in his chest going, trying to go up the center. And, minor penalty on the Russians, and that is really going to hurt him. So both teams losing bodies here.
Well, hey, I mean, he didn't go in the box. He's not in the box. Once he gets in the box, the penalty will start. I mean, it's only a minute for a minor penalty, so the Russians can play this smart. It's 4-on-3 right now, and they have a chance.
They'll get that back, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Dynasty can do. You got Oliver Lang working up the center of the field, shooting underneath the A. And he takes the walk.
Oliver just, I don't know what he was thinking, man. Got shot underneath. That's A right there. So Alex Goldman is now in the 50 snake for Dynasty. So it's going to be up to him, Ryan Greenspan, and Steven Pitts to try to win this game for Dynasty. And on the opposite side, Justin Rabakov is still alive, though he's stuck in that little cake, though. Not a good spot. He's going to want to get out of there and try to get up to the insert bunker on the snake side of the field. Back center is hot as well as the back corner bunker on the snake side.
20 seconds left on that minor penalty that was assessed on the Russian player, which I believe was Matt Blansky.
But Alex Goldman is in a good position to shoot that, though.
We got to see what the Russians can do to eliminate.
But I don't see, Alex is not looking at the time. Alex Goldman is, I don't think he might drop the ball on this. Alex Goldman is not looking at the time now for the penalty.
No one is.
Wow. I don't know what Dynasty is doing at this point. He walks out of the penalty box and all the way to the insert Dorito. So mental mistake on Dynasty's part right here in the sudden death overtime. Not one player on Dynasty had the composure to look up at the penalty clock.
Not at all. I'm going to say it now. We got to say the Russians have the advantage with one body. You can see Justin signaling to the sideline, trying to hear what's going on. Look for him to fill the snake and get a cross shot there on, if that's Pitts over there on the Dorito side. We've got for Dynasty.
Tense moments right now.
Very exciting.
Tense moments, very exciting.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, Justin finally got to that insert bunker there. Now, can he get to the snake? That's what he's going to want to do, but he's being watched by Ryan Greenspan at that stand-up temple in the center. It's a very tactical game so far, and it's been one of the craziest paintball games I've seen recently. There now, Justin Rabakov making his way into snake 1. Alex Goldman at the 50-yard line snake, and I don't think Alex Goldman knows he's there. Is anyone on the sidelines talking to Alex Goldman? I'm wondering.
There's definitely a lot of people talking. Now, what he can understand and who he
that's
trusts.
A whole other thing.
That's
exactly.
a whole other thing.
But still, Ryan Greenspan should be telling him right now that, and I can't hear from here, but I would hope that Ryan would be telling him that the snake is hot.
Exactly. And say, no, Justin's definitely going to have to see if he can work his shots across field. He takes a peek out, see if he can see Ryan. I don't know how well of a shot Ryan really has now on Justin because of the can and the pins. But Justin does have a player behind him that's backing him up. You've got a Russian player in the back center, and then, of course, that insert Dorito, the player that came out from the penalty that Alex Goldman from Dynasty is posted up on. We're going to have to see something happen over here. I'm guessing on the snake side.
I'm guessing on the snake side, too. Though, Ryan might have the ball.
Yeah.
But where can he go, though? He can't make a move to the center. Ryan cannot make it. Oh,
Dynasty eliminates the Russian player.
So who is that? Alex Goldman, I think, must have got a shot on him. Either that or it was Steven Pitts.
Might have been Pitts.
Yeah, I think it was Pitts. So Steven Pitts getting a shot on one of the Russians in the insert Dorito side of the field, Dorito 1.
So both teams now evenly matched, 3 bodies across. The board.
Better field position for Dynasty as Alex Goldman is at the 50-yard line snake, and he's matched up on the snake side of the field. The battle going down snake side is Justin Rabakov, hero of that last point, able to really step it up. He's the only reason that the Russians are even playing in sudden death overtime right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he owns Ryan Greenspan, completely dropping the ball in the stand-up temple.
I say he's got to be careful, though, because I don't know if he knows that Pitts moved up on the Dorito side. Or is that Pitts?
Yeah, Stephen Pitts.
Stephen Pitts moved up on the Dorito side, so he's got to pick up on that. He's got to play smart.
It might be Tyler Shelton.
I think it is Tyler. I think it's Tyler Shelton. I actually think that it is, because I don't say Pitts. I rarely ever saw on the Dorito side.
Yeah, well, if he's wearing that brown beanie though, I think that's Stephen. I don't know. I can't tell from here. Anyway, so Dynasty player in the insert Dorito, and
hey, Bridnikoff in the back center picking up paint for the Russian Legion. He's completely out of paint. This is definitely not a good sign if you're trying to win this last point. And to say for you guys tuning in, this is the sudden death overtime point between the Russian Legion and San Diego Dynasty. There is no time limit for this game, even though you may see the clock running. So this comes down to who can, the last player eliminated and who can hang the flag for either team. And we've got quite a match
going on. And also fatigue starts to set in at this point.
Especially for Justin.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah,
what is like definitely soldiering it out here, and he might look for him to go take out. Yeah, this is what has to happen.
He's trying to trick him.
Well, they need to take out. They're gonna have to try and take out Mouse.
Yeah.
Alex Goldman needs to be taken out of the
Mouse cannot trade out with either one of these. He has to get 2. Mouse needs to take 2.
And he's waiting. You can see him.
Yeah,
he's poised just to wait.
But Mouse needs to take 2. He can't just get run down. That's the problem right here. If Mouse gets run down and he trades out, let's say he trades out with Justin. Well, it's a 2-on-1 situation. It puts Stephen Pitts or Tyler Shelton in a situation where they're going to have to play 2-on-1 and pull off that 2-on-1 situation because Ryan got shot out of that stand-up temper. So.
No, and to say it looks like if that's Fedorov and Bridnikoff in the back center, it looks like they don't have any paint. And Justin needs to be really careful now.
He's got to have to keep his gun up, both of these guys. Oh, and let's see what the refs call on this is. Let's see what the refs call on this. They're going to pull them both out. They're going to pull them both out. That's not good for Dynasty. And here comes Steve. I'm pretty sure, I think that is Stephen Pitts. Stephen Pitts coming down the sidelines. Let's see. No paint for Bridnikoff. Oh, and so Fedorov gets shot, so it's a one-on-one situation right now. Stephen Pitts and Bridnikoff has no paint left. We could not have a more dramatic finish to this event. Will Dynasty win 5 in a row, or is it going to be Bridnikoff? And Bridnikoff,
he takes it for the Russians.
Oh, Stephen Pitts. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Bridnikoff realizing that Stephen Pitts is no coach over there on the Dorito side.
I am at a complete loss for words as to how owned either Tyler Shelton or Stephen Pitts just got owned by a Bridnikoff who had absolutely practically no paint.
He was picking up paint off the ground.
Up balls. So he had just a couple of dirty, grass-covered, dirt-covered paintballs that he got as close as he possibly could to tattoo, I think, Stephen Pitts. So, unfortunately for Dynasty, they are not going to win another. They are not going to win their 5th consecutive event. They stop at 4 consecutive wins, and it's going to be the Russian Legion who are victorious here in Chicago. And collapsing on the field is Bridnikoff, I believe. No, I'm sorry, there's Fedorov.
No, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, they went down in a heap of glory. Wow.
Unbelievable job by the Russians, and it was such a seesaw match back and forth. And I'll tell you what, MVP unquestionably is Justin Rabikoff. Justin Rabikoff, MVP of this game. If it wasn't for Justin, down bodies pushing into a bunch of Dynasty players who know that they're up, and all they have to do is just cross it up. So down bodies, pushing into him. Justin Rabikoff collapsing the flag station as he dives in with 2 seconds remaining to take his team into sudden death. And you see Mishka and the rest of his boys there in a dejected Yosh Rao, knowing how close Dynasty came to extending their win streak to 5, but it will be for naught. They take second here to a triumphant Boston Red Legion. So awesome job by both teams to even make it this far, but it is definitely Boston who will be victorious here. So thank you guys for tuning in to the 2011 Chicago PSP Open. I'm Matty Marshall, and on behalf of Nick Sloviak, Patrick Sporer, and all of our broadcast crew, we will see you guys in New Jersey. Do not forget, New Jersey, we're going to be coming at you. The next PSP event,
August 13th and 14th.
Yes, it's going to be 12 through the 14th.
12th to 14th.
And we will see you. So we will see you guys there.
Stay safe.
Stay safe in your travels home. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will be at you in New Jersey. Take care.